Hi, this is Gleb, and I always argue that the best test should be deterministic and always do the same thing. That means it should know precisely the state of the app when it starts, and it should do the same actions and expect the same results on the page. But sometimes you don't control the application closely enough to guarantee the starting state. So for example, right here, notice we have this element that appears. It shows the details element. You can click and it will expand and close. So what happens here, if you run this test, sometimes this element comes in collapsed and you can open it again. And sometimes it comes in and it's already open. So let me rerun it again and try to get, okay, like right now. So we want to confirm that this element can be closed and open, and we don't know the initial state of this element. How would you write this test? So the first thing we want to do, we want to confirm that this element details actually appears, and it appears after about 1 second. Now, in this element, I'm using standard HTML details element, and it has a property, an attribute called open. So I know the initial state using a built-in attribute. If you're doing your own components, then you can probably add a data attribute that shows the expanded or closed state. So in this case, I can, for example, confirm that this is visible. So it's on a page, and it could be closed or it could be open, and we can find out which one it is by invoking the attr query and passing the name of the attribute. Now what happens here, it will return open string if the details element is expanded, or it will return undefined if it's closed. So what we can do right here, we can say convert it to a boolean, because a non-empty string would be true and undefined would become. So let's maybe console log this for now. Okay, so notice this is open, true. And if we run it and we get a state when it's closed, notice it's false. So now, depending on this value, we can do conditional testing. So we can say open, and this is a callback inside then that will execute with that value. So we'll say if open, else. Okay, so if the element is initially open, then we can confirm that the details inside are visible. And it always helps to have anything inside have its own markup, so we can easily confirm that when the details is open, that content is actually there. So we can say site get data site details should be visible. Okay, and once we confirm it's visible, we want to click on the details and confirm that the details are no longer there, should not exist. Okay, and just to make it clear, let's log a message open to close. And let's see, what do we do in the opposite direction? So we'll say close to open. So initially the details should not exist. We're gonna click on the details, and then the details should become visible. Okay, so what happened here? Close to open. So this was initial state. Remember, Cypress shows you a dump snapshot. Initially there are no details, they're not there. Once we click on the details, it expands and the details become visible. Let's rerun this test and see if we can get open to close conditional. Open to close. So initially the element was expanded. We confirm that the user can see the contents. We clicked on the details and it closed, and the details became removed from the DOM. So this is an example of conditional testing when you don't control the state of a component that shows some content when it's open and hides it when it's closed. We can determine which state of element it is by looking at some property or an attribute, and then creating inside then if-else sets of commands. You can find this recipe and many more recipes on my website, Cypress Examples. I'm going to link it in the description of this video.